All right, guys, how we doing? I'll tell you, we got some VIPs in the audience. I see the mayor over here, and now it's we have a track and field event going on. Is that what it is? That we might understand. Any defensive backs in that group? Bring some corners and some safeties. No, it's I've had a couple unique phone calls. Last night I had a chance to talk to my high school coach named Rip Shear back in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He's a guy that played at Penn State. Tremendous high school coach. His son's been the head coach, been in the NFL. Son's now at Colorado, and his health's failing him. He's about 88, maybe 89 years old. And I had a chance to talk to Coach Shear, and it's amazing. He said if he had one more chance to do something, if he could do one thing, he'd love to go out on that field and just coach one more time. And that kind of made an impact on me. I shared that with our staff this morning, and he said that he's lived his life being involved in football, and he's always seen football as a vehicle to teach young people life's lessons. And that that hit home. It really did. And then I had a second conversation this morning with Lou Holtz. I talked to him about 45 minutes, and just talking about things that are important, things that really matter as you build a program, things that really matter when you look at yourself in the mirror. And you're very fortunate. So much of life is who you have the opportunity to be around, whether it's as a young person, your family, coming up in your career. And I've been fortunate to be around some great people. And hopefully I can make the kind of impact on our players that these coaches have made on me. But not to get too philosophical, but we've made a lot of headway in this program. And I feel so fortunate to be here. It's going to be a long journey. It's going to be a unique journey. We've got some unique problems, trust me. I know it's hard for you guys to put it into context, but we've got some unique challenges here. But what a great opportunity for us. And as we move forward, the kind of players I want in this program, I want people, do you really care? Do you really care? Can I trust you is so important to me. And, I've shared that with our players, and, because we're kind of getting that time of year now where recruiting becomes critical, certainly for us as much as anyone, maybe more than anybody in the country. And who we bring into this program is so important because we can do it, and we can do it the right way, and as long as we have the right people. So with that said, we're facing some adversity right now like every team in the country faces. I think it's important for us right now to kind of regroup in some degree as a staff and as a team. We're going to vote today. I mass texted or mass emailed, whatever you call it, to all of our players. I told them to expect when they show up at 2:30 today that we're voting on permanent captains. As this year's gone on, we've had different captains every day, every week. Because we're young, we don't really know each other in the program enough. But now we've seen enough of each other. So we're going to vote on permanent captains to help us through these next 3 weeks. So from a leadership standpoint, as you know, yesterday I suspended, Devontae Tabana for the season. Again, good kid. I really like him. He's made some progress. But I always go back to, can I trust you? And he made a decision. Had nothing to do with any legal system. I didn't have to suspend him. But again, can I trust you? So he's suspended. It's unfortunate. But I'm not going to compromise. We right now, at the quarterback position, we know what we are. There's not one quarterback in this program that was brought in the previous regime's recruiting class. Not one quarterback. I suspended David Vega early in the year. He's not back on this team. Not that it was anything. It probably didn't warrant what he did. Defensive backs, we have 3 scholarship defensive backs in this program right now that are eligible to play, that were brought in by the previous regime in 3 years. Devontae Tabana probably would have played a lot this week. I'm not compromising. So with that said, that's kind of where we are as we build this program. Wyoming brings some challenges, as everybody does. They're a spread offense. They've got a quarterback that really is a dynamic player, runner and thrower. They've been in their systems for several years. You know, but we have a chance to win a game. You know, last week was the first time this year really that I didn't think we started out the game the way we've started out previous games. You know, we've gotten so used to scoring first. I think, what did we go, 4 straight weeks scoring the first time we had the ball. We did some good things, you know, but overall we walked out of there getting beat pretty soundly. So we need to regroup. We need to go. We need to go. So any questions, I'll be glad to answer. Yeah. He's suspended for the rest of the season. You know, I feel like if I put him out there to play, I'm really just using him. You know, it's time. We're enabling him if I let him play. And I'm not doing that. I'm not using these kids just to try to win a game. The best thing for him, and he knows it, and I know it, is to take football completely away from him. You know, we've invested a lot of time in him, which is fine. We've not gotten much back, and he knows that. I told him that. But it always comes back, can I trust you? You know, and I handle each case separately. I can't trust him right now. So he's not going to play. He's not going to be part of this team. It's simple.
Coach, you said after the last game that you felt like your staff, you guys got out-coached. Can you elaborate on that, or what you're doing to correct that?
Yeah, I think, you know, after the game, you always say some things. You know, I talked to our team about it. You know, I went through everything I told them in the locker room after the game. First thing I said I thought we got whipped. You know, when I went back and looked at the tape, I really don't think that was the case, where we just got whipped or we got out-efforted. You know, so, you know, when you give up the kind of big plays we give up, when you give up a 67-yard run, when you give up on the very next play a 28-yard pass, when you give up a 75-yard touchdown pass, when you give up a 50-yard run at the end of the game, you know what? The bottom line, that shouldn't happen. So yeah, they outcoached us because there's some things that shouldn't happen, and you know, I would stick to that. I thought UNLV did a good job. I think they did outcoach us in the game, to be quite honest. There were a team that had one win coming in. They'd played very well in certain games. They were ready to play more than we were ready to play. You know, so I mean, it was 21-0 at halftime. So they outcoached us, no question. For us? Yeah. Red shirt. Yeah, red shirt. No, I think, what do we have? Ridge Jones we're keeping out. Right. The tight end, Christian Rebon. Right. I think that's it. Who? Santos. We took, fortunately, Freddie Young was able to play. Right. He took that thigh bruise. I think 3. Would that be right? Fatu would be a guy, yeah. Yeah, Fatu would be a guy. That's 4. But 3 out of the 25 newcomers, right? 3 out of the 25 newcomers. Yeah, I saw somewhere where UNLV had something in there. They've played 7 freshmen or something. We've played, what, all but those guys we just mentioned. Yeah, and it's a shame. I mean, it's a shame that Aqua started against Southern. Andrew Aqua started, you know, and guys have played, but that's the situation we're in. It's a shame. I feel bad for those kids, you know, but that's part of it.
What sort of challenges Brett Smith present?
You know, he's one of the few guys. You know, it's funny. You know, you don't hear these players on our team talk much about, you know, like last year when we played this team this, or this team's this, or this player's this. This player is one guy our players talk about and talked about. So he's made a tremendous impression on our team from last year. He reminds me of kind of a gym rat guy, you know, a guy that's very productive, loves to play, you know, elusive, playmaker. He's a good player. I mean, he's a freshman of the year last year in the Mountain West Conference and had some injuries early in the year, I think some concussions. I think he's settled in. I think they're comfortable, and I think he's comfortable now. He's a challenge. Casey? Yeah, Casey, you know, Casey didn't practice last week, you know, with the hamstring. You know, I don't know if that was a major factor in the game. I think it was somewhat of a factor in the game. Came through it good with the hamstring. He's got a little bit of a wrist, you know, like everybody has, little bumps and bruises. But the hamstring came out of it good from the week. So we're, you know, Rashad Rainey won't play. which hurts us. But other than that, we're hanging in there on the injury front pretty good.
Coach, was the style, the handoff between the tackles and dive play without using the option in the first half, was that designed to try to protect Cole a little bit, not take any hits, or that was just game?
No, yeah, and I'll tell you, they did a good job. They came after Cole hard on the options. Even when he pitched it, he took a shot. They beat him up pretty good. But we were able to pitch the ball on the perimeter as much as any game I've been in. We got the ball pitched and we got it blocked pretty good. We had a chance to make some big plays, didn't quite get them. I do think we're playing Cole too much. I think it's, the totality of it, putting him out there for that many snaps is tough. And I could see at the end of the game he made some mistakes. Just looking at him at the end of the game, he was tired, he was beat up. We've got to get him out of that game. We've got to play some other guys in there at quarterback. I mean, I talked to Coach Holtz about that this morning. I talked back when he was here last year, I talked about my worst nightmare. My worst nightmare would be if B.R. Holbrook went down. And what do we do if B.R. Holbrook goes down? And all of a sudden, B.R. Holbrook really has been down all year. And that's where we are. I mean, it's still Cole Gauchi and Quentin McCown. And it really is kind of remarkable. There's some things that are remarkable. When you look at this football team, it's number 1 in the country in time of possession. I'm talking about out of 122 teams. Number 1 in the country in time of possession. Number 5 in rush offense in this country. Number 10 in turnovers forced. Number 12 in turnover margin. Number 16 in fewest penalties. It really is remarkable. So we're controlling pretty much the things we can control other than giving up the big plays. That is the common theme to where our problems have come from, is giving up big plays. But other than that, there really are some remarkable things that kind of get clouded when you get beat 3 weeks in a row. But big picture-wise, it's pretty good.
Coach, do you feel like the team's morale has been affected at all by losing 3 in a row?
Mine has. No, you can't help it be. But you can't use that as an excuse. You can't ever feel sorry for anybody. You can't ever act like, well, we only have this many DBs or we only have this quarterback. You go the opposite way. You go the opposite way, and you make it harder than it's ever been. You're more demanding than you've ever been. And you're more attention to detail. We're going in full pads today. We're practicing a little bit earlier today, so we're not out there in the darkness. We're going to meet a little bit before practice, meet a little bit after. We've got some competition periods set up where we're going offensive line against defensive line, wide receivers against DBs, the best we have against the best we have. Immediately after practice, we're coming in, we're putting it up as an entire team and watch it, see who won and who lost. So, we're going the opposite way. Captains are going to be in front of that team. We're going to demand nothing but excellence, nothing but the best, and there's no excuses. There's no feeling sorry for yourself. So I'm going to nip that attitude issue in the bud as much as I can. There's not going to be enough time for them to think about, oh, no, here we go again. That didn't happen.
Talking to Lou Holtz and your high school coach this week, was there anything that prompted that, or you got you?
No, actually, my high school coach's brother emailed me and told me. My high school coach's brother emailed and told me that Rip was in some, had some health issues. So I just called him and talked to him, and it was amazing. It was amazing. He was a Penn State graduate. He worked Penn State. He had several chances to go coach for Joe Paterno. They're very close. He could have coached at Penn State. He went back and worked Penn State's summer football camp, which is 1,000 people come in for that. It's a huge, one of the first and biggest summer football camps before everybody was doing it. He worked the summer football camp even last year. At 88 years old, he was still going to Penn State's summer camp for 2 weeks every summer, coaching their summer football camp. He just loved it. And he wasn't a guy that was like a Johnny X and O guy that's all he ever had in life. I mean, this guy's done a lot of things. So for him to tell me if he just could do one more thing, it would go out there and coach those kids, that made an impact on me. I mean, he was consistent, the same every day. But no, and Lou, I actually got a text from Lou last night that said, I don't want to bother you, but give me a call tomorrow. Let's just talk and let's just visit. So I called him, and it was a good time to hear from him. Just to talk about, how that you don't compromise, and that, I truly do believe that, there was a point in my career where I thought talent was the most important thing. Where it was all about the guy that could jump the highest, run the fastest, make the most dynamic play. I really do not believe that. It's about, do you care and can I trust you? I look at Matt Raymer out there on that football field. And I asked Matt Raymer yesterday in front of our DBs, in front of the whole defense. I said, Matt, are you the slowest defensive back on this team? Matt Raymer's a fifth-year guy. I said, Coach, I'm the slowest defensive back. It's been documented. I said, well, what is it you have that makes you the most productive defensive back on this football team? Tim Foley now plays every snap. We don't act like Tim Foley's 5'7". We don't act like Tim Foley's a walk-on. Matt Raymer plays every single snap and is our most productive defensive back. And those guys aren't the two most talented, but they care and I trust them. Now, when we get the talent, but we have this foundation, we'll be on our way. But do you care and can I trust you is first. And I'm a firm believer in that. And I wasn't always that way. I, in the back of my mind, said, yeah, that sounds great, but I want that guy that's dynamic out there. Come on, man. Those are coach killers, those guys you're waiting on to be that dynamic guy. So it's been it's a fun process as we build this thing. And again, I don't mean to be like Dr. Phil up here every week, but it is. It's a journey that'll be worth taking for everybody. So.
Do you like the helmets?
I like them. If we win, I love them. No, I think it's great. I think it's a great message. As I mentioned, last summer, Urban Meyer and I went to Kuwait and the Middle East and on a USO tour and spent some time around all the troops and it's a great message. I think our players will love them, and hopefully we play representative of what these helmets look like.
Coach,
all right, guys?
you've described coaching this team as having to be patient, also with a sense of urgency and balancing
That's right.
those two. How has that affected coaching decisions this year?
That's hard. That's why I step back and say there are some remarkable things that have happened. Not to try to spin it for you guys or say, well, all this is good and to take away from us getting whipped by UNLV. But in reality, when you do step back and look at it, I have been around. I have seen different programs. There are unique challenges here, as unique as any there's been in college football. I stand here and tell you that. And some of the things that have been accomplished, not to make that look bigger than what the final scores of games are. It's remarkable what's going on with these kids. And I understand that, and I appreciate that. And I tell myself that, to keep me patient, to see the big picture and what's happening. Because it's hard. It's hard to get your butt whipped. It's hard to lose 3 straight games. And that's something, that's hard. That's hard on everybody. But there's a bigger picture to all this. And stay positive and stay focused and be realistic about where we are is important. But that's a challenge. All right? All right, guys, thank you.